Hi guys, this is just Paris and I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel. Today I will be doing a brown smoky eye with a pop of color. So if you would like to see how I achieve this look, just keep watching. I'm first going to be starting out with my eyebrows and I'm using Dip Brow by Anastasia Beverly Hills in the shade Ebony. The first brush that I'm using has a thicker bristle and a spoolie on the end. Spoolie is always important because it helps you blend the product, and the thicker bristle just helps you fill in the end of your brow a little faster. The second brush I'm switching to has a much thinner bristle and it allows me to get thinner strokes, which also looks closer to actual hairs. And then I'm going to take Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the shade Light Neutral, and I'm going to clean up my eyebrows to make them super clean and crisp. And then I'm also going to prime my eyelids with the same concealer to give me a flat, neutral base. Now it's time for the shadows. I'm using the Morphe 39A palette and I'm going to go in with the color Bear for my transition shade. You want to be sure to start with a little bit of product on your brush so you can build up the color slowly. And then I'm going to take the color Sunder and place it right under the first transition shade, again building up the intensity according to your liking. For the lid, I'm going to mix frame and mask and pack it onto the lid until it is as dark as I want it. Since it is darker than the crease shades, you want to go back into your second color, which for me is Sunder, and you're going to want to blend out the edges so there's no harsh lines. Then also, while blending these edges out, if you feel like you've lost some of the intensity of your lid shade, go back, pack on more color, and repeat the process. I did it a couple of times, but I only showed you one time. And now for the fun part. I'm using the NYX eyeshadow base in the color White to lay down a base for my inner corner so that my shadow will be brighter without having to wet my brush. For the pop of color, I'm going to go into the Prism palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I'll be using the color Sphere, which is the bright neon yellow-green color in the palette. You want to keep packing on the color until it's as bright as you like it. I packed on a lot of shadow because I wanted it really, really bright. And then I'm taking this fluffy brush with a little bit of the mask shadow to blend out the edges of Sphere and also to further blend out the crease color. Then it's onto the face. To prime, I'm using Dr. Brandt's Pores No More Luminizer Primer, which is new and I loved it. I'm also spraying some of the Too Faced Hangover RX 3-in-1 spray to add a little bit of hydration because my skin is super dry lately. For foundation, I'll be using the Maybelline Dewy Smooth in the shade 310, which I know is a little bit too dark for my face, but it works well when it all comes together with my body. Make sure you blend everything really good and go down your neck so you don't have like the mask face going on. It's not a good look. To highlight, I'm going back in with the Tarte Shape Tape and in the color Light Neutral. I'm also using it to clean up the edges of my eyeshadow. Then to contour my cheeks, I'm going to be going in with the ABH foundation stick in the color Fawn. And around my forehead, I'm going to go in with the Wet n Wild contour stick in the shade Call Me Maple. I'm using that shade around my forehead because it's a little bit warmer and I like more of a bronzy look around my forehead. But the cooler tone in my cheek tone gives me a more chiseled look. I'm going to be using the sponge to blend in my contour, so anywhere that I have the concealer. And then to blend in my contours, I'm going to use a dual fiber brush. I feel like if I use the brush, I have a little bit more control over where the darker colors are going as opposed to me using the sponge for everything. Now to set everything in place, everywhere that I put the concealer, I'm going to use the Patrick Star Powder by MAC Cosmetics to set my under eyes, my forehead, around my nose, my smile lines. Now to further deepen and set my contour, I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Contour Duo in the shade Dulce de Leche. I don't know why it was so hard for me to say that. But anyway, I like to use that powder in my contour zones because it has a cooler tone to it as opposed to a flat bronzer. I also use that shade to contour my nose. You also want to use a cooler tone on your nose as well because it gives a natural shadow. Also, while doing my nose contour, I picked up the lighter shade in the duo to further highlight the very tip of my nose and the bridge of my nose. Now for me to get an all over bronze, I picked up MAC Give Me Sun, which is my ride or die bronzer, and it gives me a nice all over bronze and it makes me look like I have a little color because everybody knows I'm slacking in that department. I also make sure that I get under my chin and around my jawline to slim out this double chin. And then I'm going to take some translucent powder to apply under my contour, and it helps chisel out those lines and makes the jaw look a little sharper. While that powder sits, I'm going to finish up my eyes. I'm going to apply Fame and Mask under my eyes, close to the lash line, and then using Sunder to blend out the colors just a little bit more. I then decided that I wanted to add a little bit more sphere, so I started with the white base, just like I did on the lid. And then again, I'm going to take a little bit more of this under and blend the sphere into the lower lash line without it having a big break. Now for my favorite part of any makeup look, highlight. I'm going to start by using the color Forever Lit in the Nicole Guerrero collab with Anastasia Beverly Hills. I love that color on my nose. Usually I always reach for that color. Never fails me. For my cheekbones, I'm going to combine Glow Gooder and 143. Again, two of my favorites. Those two together are amazing. Then I took a big fluffy brush and dusted off the translucent powder under my contours. Don't you see how sharp? Then to blend in the highlight into my contour color, I grabbed for the blush palette by Real Her. I used the first and last shade to kind of give like a muted color and applied it onto my cheekbones in between the highlight and the bronzer. And here's the final look. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you for watching.